Okay, we'll call the public hearing back to order. Again, we are at a public hearing for ordinance 1202 and ordinance 1203. A last chance for comments on that. Hearing none and seeing no other business for the public hearing, we will adjourn the public hearing. We'll start the regular meeting at 7.
Excuse me. This thing down here by my feet.
Okay, we'll call the regular city council meeting of September 21st, 2022 to order at 7 p.m. Please stand and join me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Susan.
Mayor Allison.
Here.
Tom Baylor. Kathy Sherman is absent. Jeff Guard.
Here.
Melina Meyer is absent. Ann Schaefer.
Here.
Kristen Carpenter.
Here.
And Ken Jones.
Here.
That's a quorum of council.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Agenda for September 21st?
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Yes, Kristen?
I was going to ask if, I think maybe we can remove item 7. It's an amount for $10,200, and that's under the $25,000 that the manager has authority for.
Are you moving to amend it by removing
To remove
that?
it from the agenda, yeah.
Except was it a budgeted item?
It's in the approved budget that, budget item that was related to some ARPA funding of $666,000. We had outlined a bunch of expenditures that you guys approved, and this was definitely an oversight on my part. It doesn't need to be included.
Okay, so it was moved and seconded to amend the agenda by taking out item 7. Discussion?
Did you second that?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have anybody on the line?
No.
Elena's not there? Okay.
No.
Good. I don't need to pause then. Okay.
So then go back to the,
The regular
Yes.
agenda, anything else on the agenda? All those in favor of approving the regular agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any conflicts of interest, ex parte communications? Seeing none, we'll move on to communications by and petitions from visitors. Gonna use executive privilege here, I guess, to turn it over to Helen for just a minute so we can get our officers back on duty.
So I want to reintroduce today Chief Goss, who has, in a very short period of time, really tackled building morale in our officer pool and restructuring a number of things. And he has an announcement that he wants to make, and we want to provide recognition as well to one of our key officers. Do you want to?
I think this, is this one on?
Can you hear me from here?
Yeah.
So I don't have to sit down.
There's nobody online, so we're good.
Okay, perfect. I'd like to read something that has a lot of meaning for our department and the officer who received this. Officer Hayden, over the past 6 years with Cordova Police Department, you have shown true dedication and commitment to the community, fellow co-workers, and the state. I've seen your leadership skills back when I worked with you in 2018, and now I observe other officers looking up to you in guidance, stressful calls, etc. Cameron, you are always willing to assist with calls, helping with reports, assisting other newer officers, and making our police station look more presentable. You always have a positive outlook on life, this job, and anything else that comes your way. The thing that impressed me most is, even though you have a lot of duties, you never complain when I give you more. Cameron, you always step up and figure a way to help. You have a calm demeanor, and you're always thinking things out and or ahead, which is a true sign of the leader. Officer Hayden, the team and I are grateful we have you here, and we could all benefit with you stepping into this role as a sergeant and leading us into a great department. I am proud to be your chief and fellow co-worker. I couldn't imagine you not being in a leadership role there. So, Officer Hayden, you're promoted to a sergeant within our department.
Thank you, Chief, and congratulations, Sergeant. Thank you. Thank you for your service, all of you. Okay, then we're moving on to our guest speakers. We have Kristen Carpenter from the Prince William Sound Economic Development District and Rebecca Braun going to give us a presentation.
Oh, there she is. Great, thank you. Yeah,
Hi,
so,
it's a little hard to hear you, and I don't see you all, but do you hear and see me?
can you hear me, Rebecca?
I can hear you.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
and
you
we
hear
can
me?
hear you, yes. And is it possible for
Okay.
her to see anything?
Unless she just wants to look at me.
Okay, all right, never mind. Okay,
I know I'm
okay.
talking, but like,
Yeah.
that's all she can see.
Okay, great. We'll put up the slides. Awesome.
It's okay.
So,
I don't need to see anybody. As long
Okay.
as you can see the slides, actually.
It's-
You don't really need to see me either. As long
oh,
as you can hear me.
Rebecca, can you turn up your volume a little bit?
Yeah, I think I can try.
Okay.
Let me try. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'll just, while she's looking, say, so I'm with the Prince William Sound Economic Development District. We work with all the communities in the Sound, so Cordova, Valdez, Whittier, Chenega to Titlic. And our mission is to support economic development and the communities in the Sound, the businesses in the Sound. And this work is something that came out of discussions we've been having at our board level. And some of the work that's being done at the state level, you know, there were studies done under both Governor Walker and Governor Dunleavy to look at ideas for Alaska Marine Highway System reform and reshaping, and that was done on a statewide level. And we have been looking at one of the models of the Inter-Island Ferry Authority down in Southeast, which operates as its own ferry authority, has one route, goes back and forth all day, I think. And so we have funding in one of our grants that we issued an RFP. We got 2 proposals. The company to whom we awarded the project is McKinley Research Group. And so they are leading this effort to look at the feasibility of a Prince William Sound Ferry Authority. And so Rebecca is going to walk us through a few slides and we can take questions. So Rebecca, over to you.
Thanks, Kristen. Can you guys hear me any better?
Not really, it's pretty faint.
Oh, gosh. Something going on with my speakers. Sorry.
That's a little better.
I'll sort of yell. Okay, I'll just yell. Well, I'll be brief. Nice to meet you all. My name is Rebecca Braun, and I'm in Juneau, Alaska. I'm a long-time Alaskan, and I'm a fan of the ferry. And this is pretty brief, but just want to tell you a little bit what we're doing and why. So it's a Prince William Sound Ferry Authority feasibility study. And we're McKinley Research Group, formerly McDowell Group. Some of you may be familiar with us. We've been doing research and consulting for 50 years in Alaska. And we have a partner in this project, Coastwise Corporation. They are a long-time Alaska firm also, and they're doing a lot of the marine engineering. Why don't we go to the next slide, please?
We're there.
So the purpose of this project is really just to assess the viability of a regional ferry authority or similar mechanism to provide reliable and sustainable ferry service in Prince William Sound region that meets community needs. And this is sort of, I guess, a backup plan. The Alaska Marine Highway System, of course, has experienced some turbulence in recent years, why don't we go to the next slide? And again, the backdrop to this project, I think we're all familiar with the issues. There's been declining state support for the Alaskan Marine Highway System. The AMHS fleet and infrastructure are aging. We're seeing increasing service disruptions. And for all these reasons, there's been growing interest in alternative options. And the underlying assumption here is that reliable and sustainable ferry service is critical to the social and economic fabric of Prince William Sound communities. Why don't we go to the next slide? Why a ferry authority? And this really goes to some of the previous studies Kristen mentioned. There's been quite a bit of work done, and in general, they've sort of ruled out a lot of other options. For example, a whole private system really would not break even under any circumstances that would provide the kind of service and the kind of pricing people need. And most of the other models that have been looked at probably are not appropriate. Alaska has a statute that enables local government, a single local government or multiple local governments, to run a ferry system through something called a ferry authority, which is similar to a port authority. And there are certain advantages to this kind of system because you're still a public entity. You can access public funds and have certain advantages of being a public entity. And recent studies, as I mentioned, suggest the ferry authority model might be a viable alternative in certain regions. And Prince William Sound is probably a good candidate for various reasons. A ferry authority would potentially offer greater local control, and something that's an unknown, but that has certainly been mentioned as a potential under a ferry authority, is that there might be a transfer of some state assets. So this project is really going to look at trying to define the ferry service alternatives that might be appropriate in terms of vessel types and schedules for Prince William Sound, a traffic and revenue analysis, operating costs and capital cost analysis, and that feeds into a financial feasibility and risk analysis, all of which helps us do an overall cost-benefit analysis of local control. We can go to the next slide. Public participation is really important for this project, and especially for understanding the service alternatives that best meet community needs. So we have a simple project website that's hosted by Prince William Sound Economic Development District, just so that people know what's going on. There's no mystery. We're doing these community council visits, like we're doing right here tonight, with the communities that are involved. And we plan to launch interviews with what we call key stakeholders, just business and other leaders, again, to try to help us understand the needs of the region. And we anticipate sometime in the spring having a public forum where we can share some of our initial findings and get some feedback from the public. So that's really where it is right now, and that is the end. I promised I'd be brief. And my next slide we can go to just says, thank you. Thanks for your time. If you have questions or comments or suggestions, I can do my best to answer.
Anybody questions?
Yeah.
Everybody loved, okay, not yet.
I just have one question, and two questions. Is the project website up yet?
Yeah, it's on our website, pwsedd.org. And if you go to, what did it use? I think it's resources and data. Sorry, I should know that off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's resources and data, or planning and data. That's what it is, planning and data. And then there's a one page under that that's labeled Prince William Sound Ferry Authority feasibility study. Yeah.
How does this fit in with the state's? Does the state still have that working group? Is it still active, and how does it fit in with that? Or
I think at this point, I think that working group has disbanded, and now what's moving forward is the new Alaska Marine Highway Operations Board.
okay,
Yeah. So
anybody else?
So on the website, are we able to make comment? Like, is that where we would submit comments, or are you not asking for public comments at this point?
We haven't asked for comments yet, but there is a place, if you want, there is a way to send an email in, and you could get added to a mailing list, but you could also send an email and make a comment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And if you want to be included, they are doing some stakeholder interviews. And I know I gave them Helen's name. If anybody else wants to be included on that list of people who would like to be interviewed to be able to offer comments, we could make sure you're on the list.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Kristen.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, so next is audience comments regarding any agenda items. Any audience comments? Seeing none. Chairpersons, representatives of boards and commissions, CCMC. Doc, you want to give a report?
Hello. I wanted to come today and just give a quick hospital update. I think everybody knows we're a struggling rural hospital, but the good news is we're struggling way, way less than we have in the past. So it's awesome. We, just like everybody in town, are struggling with staffing. And it's not just town, it's everywhere, right? So sorry if we're trying to recruit your employees away from you. We really are trying to recruit and keep the hospital open. We're really happy to be able to announce that Dr. Glow is going to stay working for us, and he is going to be here for years at this point. We also still have Laura Hineker and Dr. Wolk, who have been serving the community for 5 years. So we've had actually really consistent providers, and that's helped us. This is my 3rd year in this position, and good and bad news, every single day, certainly every month, we uncover a new problem that has been going on probably for decades. So there's still a lot of room for growth and a lot of room for improvement. So that's awesome, even though it makes my job really hard. It's awesome to continue to improve. So I'm glad to answer any questions. We are starting to work on our budget, and we'll be here in the next month or month and a half with any kind of budget request.
Any questions for Dr. Sanders? Yeah.
Did we get the audit yet from CCMC?
Certainly, but I can forward another copy.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
It is it's in our minutes as well, but
Yeah, we incorporated their audit in our audit, so it will be a part of a document you'll get in October.
Oh,
But if you want it independently, we can do that.
I
well.
just knew you'd been working on it, so I didn't remember if it had actually come before us yet.
Councilmember Carpenter?
I don't have a question as much as a comment, just to say that the fact that we've had that much consistency among medical providers, I think is a really huge accomplishment, a big step. It's something to be really pleased about, because that's, people want to go see the same provider. So, yeah, we're not. Yeah, thank you for bringing that stability.
So are Dr. Glow and his family still going to be our neighbors across the slough, or?
You'll have to take that where they're living up with them. I'm not certain, but we're glad to have them
Family's back.
for sure for the next 2
Okay, good.
years.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you have updates for boosters and flu shots?
Yes, we have I'm not certain on flu shots, but we have bivalent Pfizer vaccine available in clinic. So call and make an appointment, and you can get the most up-to-date booster.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Questions?
No, we got our booster Monday, and they didn't have the flu vaccine then, so they were still waiting on it.
I'm not sure the exact date that we're going to get it.
Sounded soon, though.
Yes.
Okay, last chance, last call for Dr. Sanders. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
School board. Anybody, school board? Nobody's online, right?
No.
Okay.
One more.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Prince William Alcohol, they're gonna have their fall meeting coming up here, and at that time, I'll probably have some more information on the meeting, get updates and where they're at. So, not much comes through, the office is so small anymore that
Yeah.
it's hard to get information. Anyway, that's coming up here in October.
Okay.
The meeting gonna be here in town or? It will be, yes. Okay.
Logan, you can probably turn that off.
Okay, cool.
Nobody's on it.
Okay, we still don't have a student council rep, right?
Nope,
I think they just had a meeting
I know.
not too long ago, a couple days ago, maybe.
Email her again.
They're just organizing that group. Okay, consent calendar is before you.
Only just the minutes, but we'll do them. Okay, so on the consent calendar, Melina Meyer is absent. Kristen Carpenter,
Yes.
Tom Baylor,
Yes.
Jeff Guard,
Yes.
Kathy Sherman is absent, Ken Jones,
Yes.
and Ann Schaefer.
Yes.
The consent calendar is approved.
Okay, the minutes were in the consent calendar, so consideration of bids, proposals, contracts. Item 6, award of contract to Enviro Safety, Public Safety Center for 23 sets of fire PPE for $41,991.52.
So moved.
Second.
Moved Baylor, seconded Schaefer. Hey, Tom?
I guess if they need it, they need it. It's like when I buy a bear tag to make sure I never see a bear, I guess.
Don't worry, you can use mine.
I think the PPE might be a little different than that. They use that whether they get a bear or not.
Oh, the fire, it's for,
Yeah, so, anybody have any questions, comments on it? Hearing none, this is a voice vote. So, okay, go ahead, call the, oh, no.
No, you can do voice.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 7 we took off. So the mayor's report, I just do verbal this time. I don't have a whole lot to add. It's only been a week since our last meeting before this had to come up. But the only thing I really have is, and we may want to talk about it at pending agenda, is the city is a member of the Alaska Maricultural Association, AMA. I think, Kristen, are you part of that as well? There's several Cordovans that are part of that. When Clay was the mayor, he appointed Tommy Sheridan to represent the city officially as the city's representative, and he's on the executive committee, and they're having a meeting here shortly. The part of it is in their bylaws. I think they must have 50 or 60 official members. Now, they needed 30 for a quorum.
I think they revised that.
Well, they're in the process.
Yeah.
At this meeting they're going to vote on
Okay.
on revising that to where the executive board would be the new board, so that it's more of so that you got a reasonable board. We needed 30 for a quorum at the meeting this summer that I attended, and they were having a hard time making that, and the executive committee does all the work anyway. So they're talking about changing the bylaws to make it so that the board. Anyway, long and short of that is Tommy's currently our representative, and he's the secretary of their executive board currently, and if they change the procedures, I guess at some point in time, the council should formally appoint Tommy or somebody else to be the city's representative on that. They currently have my name, they currently have Clay's name listed officially as the mayor of Cordova, as the Cordova seat. I think it's only $75 to pay for your membership, but they've got a ton of money now. They've got $40 or $50 million to work with now. So they've hired an executive director, and they're trying to change their structure. So anyway, I think depending on the outcome of their meeting, if they have that executive board, we should probably officially appoint somebody as a council's rep. Currently, we've told them that Tommy is our rep, still continuing as Clay appointed him, and he can continue on the executive board until that's all tentative change in this coming meeting. So anyway, I think I'll just leave it at that until we'll see what their bylaws come out of this meeting that they're having, and if we need to make an appointment, then we'll do that. I'd rather have that be done official. I don't remember hearing anything on council from Clay when that happened, but the AMA is pretty new thing, and I think it's important for our region, as you've seen lots of applications come before us, and it's an important thing.
For the record, it maybe sounds like nitpicking, but the EDA Build Back Better Regional Challenge grant money, the $49 million, that actually is going to the Southeast Conference.
Right.
Yeah. Alaska Mariculture Association did get a $5 million grant from the state. But anyway, some of that, but the Southeast Conference is managing that bigger chunk.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it will definitely go to benefit the AMA, and the idea is to help build it
Right.
up so that we have an entity that can support this industry.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they were listed with the Southeast Conference and another dozen organizations that are all part of that conglomeration that's promoting mariculture in the state. And I think that's good for our region as well as many others. And I think Tommy's been doing a good job on that, and he's certainly one of the leaders of that organization at the current time. So he will continue with that until we change it. So anyway, I don't have anything else really to report as the mayor's report, unless you have any questions. Okay, moving on to the city manager's report. Ellen.
All right, thank you. In your packet on page 20 is the 2023 city budget calendar schedule, how we're going to move forward to get you a document for approval in early December. One thing of note is, given the council calendar and the holidays in December, we are going to do our best to get a budget document in front of you at the first December meeting. So if you wanted to cancel the second meeting because of its proximity to the Christmas holiday and other holidays, that would be an option. So we're accelerating the approval schedules to the first meeting in December. Staff right now is starting work. We've got some new budget software that's going to hopefully make it easier as we stumble along learning the software, but I think we will have no problem getting you a document according to the schedule, and it's listed on page 20. The bond is the harbor bond will be finalized and signed and funded next Wednesday. We're just signing documents now. And I do want to have Tony give a little update on the South Harbor, because there's some news going on. Like, we're getting real close to. Not close. Yeah.
So as usual, Sam and I and Mark Keller, we've been having meetings every week, and meeting with R&M. We're on, I think, our 15 rendition of the drawings, the conceptual drawings, and we got them, I think, all ironed out. Today was the last one. The plan is Friday, send out the RFP and be done with it. 45 days we'll be out, and then we'll get responses, hopefully a bunch of phone calls, and everyone wants to start right away doing the project. So.
And if I may, there's been quite a bit of interest from construction companies in this RFP, and I think we'll have a really good team on the ground.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any questions for Tony?
Once this move forward, is there a start date or time of year? What's the?
Yeah, we're looking right around close to this date right now next year. So October 1st, somewhere around there.
Try to get past the fishing season.
Yeah, when most of the boats are out of the South Harbor, and we can work on getting them, the rest of them out over to the other side or hauling them.
And then substantial completion, maybe not complete, before the season begins in 2024.
Yeah, I think we said first week of April would be substantial completion, then final June, which might be just hooking up blast of water and stuff like that, and small things, putting the life rings on and all that. But yeah, we told everyone in the RFP, spells it out, we have to be open April 1st for everyone. So everyone at least has moorage. So.
Questions for Tony? Thank you.
as I mentioned, the bond is going to be closing next week, so we're well on our way to assembling all the financing we need to get this project off the ground. And we don't have everything we need and want. We're hopeful with the issuance of the RFP that the responders will have some ideas of how to cut costs while still giving us a robust product that we'll all be happy with. Moving on, there's a financial report on page 21 through 831. We'll have a bigger discussion when we present the first budget on how we're tracking for this calendar year and our anticipated look at revenues going into next fiscal year. So we'll have a better discussion around that, and I'll have more clarity for you if you have any questions. Otherwise, the report is as presented. It's current income and expenses as of 8/31. And with that, I am done.
Okay, any questions for the manager? Okay, moving on to the clerk's report.
Sure. So I'm going to either this week or probably early next week start advertising all the board and commission vacancies for November, hoping for appointments then at the December 7th meeting also. I think that's about when we did it last year too. It's before any of those boards or commissions meet in the month of December, and actually usually most of them don't meet in December anyway, so it should be fine. And I'll make sure I get in touch with anybody who's applied within the last few years and ask them if they want to refresh their applications or if they're still interested in being in the pool. So foreclosures, the courts are clogged, I guess, because we finished the 2019, expiration of the redemption period in July, and we still haven't seen the recorded deed that puts the one property in our name because, well, it's two properties that we've heard nothing from the owners, and they didn't pay, and they clearly received all the notifications. They were hand-delivered. So there will be a council decision to be made here coming up as soon as the deed gets recorded. And, we'll just bring an ordinance to you guys to let you know there'll be a few options of using the land for a public purpose or else declaring that there is no public purpose and selling it. And there are nuances to it, and I've asked the attorneys if it's even worth maybe an executive session to really explain it thoroughly to you guys before we decide which way to go on that. Because, similar to the coho, but a little different because every property is different. And because of COVID and the way 19 ended, it got extended a year, the 2019 foreclosures. 2020 came up right away just after that expiration of the redemption period just closed, or expiration just happened. There are, that initial property that's still on the 19 is obviously still on it, and one other property. But we've at least heard from them, and even though it closed, I do believe they will come in and make that one right. So hopefully it'll just be one that we're dealing with. I wanted to tell you guys that AML has changed their dates, and it's December 7th to the 9th. Of course, we just said how we'd like to be passing our budget on December 7th, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I wanted you to all at least go to the AML website and look around and let me know if anybody's interested in attending any part of that, if you want to. And number 13 in correspondence today, it had some weird dates in there. There were two different dates about when the comment period closed, and I followed up with him, and I meant to include my email in the correspondence so you saw the follow-up that the last day to comment is actually today. So if for some reason we get to talking about that item and there was some council concurrence on any kind of comment, I could do it after the meeting tonight and still get a comment in if that interests you. And that is all I have to report on.
Okay, questions for the clerk? Seeing none, we'll move on to correspondence.
Yeah. On page 28 there, the letter from James Burton. So is this kind of in reference to what Councilman Jones was speaking of last meeting. Putting things in the way or not the right way or what? Is there some way we need to address that, or is that, are we good?
Yeah, I guess, like, at the last meeting, I just urged any future applicants to reach out to CDFU prior to picking their location, because it might alleviate gear conflict. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what James is kind of saying too. So,
Well, I guess from my side of it, being a contractor, not a fisherman, I wouldn't have any idea of what's going on here. So I guess we could look to the fishermen on the council or CDFU to bring it to our attention when these things do come to council, like, maybe you don't want to endorse this, or these are questions.
Yeah,
Out
there's-
of my expertise.
yeah, there's been a couple applications now that CDFU has commented on, and the NVE one, after we approached them, said, hey, that's like right in a set that we've been making for years. They're like, oh, okay, we'll move to the other side of the bay. And it wasn't even a big deal. But it, changing their application at the final hour resulted in a lot more paperwork for them. So I was just kind of urging people on record, if you're going to apply for a kelp farm, maybe just come in and see Jess Root or Kelsey, or talk to Ezekiel or talk to me. And, there's plenty of room out there. There's spots we fish, and then there's lots of spots we can't fish because of rocks and this and that, or,
Right.
So, yeah, just, there's plenty of room for everybody out there. We just need to, I guess, communicate between the user groups a little bit more.
So for item 13, has that been addressed? Then we don't need to make comments on item 13. Is
Right.
what we're
For
saying?
item 13, they already moved it from a
Okay.
spot that we were fishing, and it got moved to the other side of the bay.
Okay. Kristen?
Yeah, I was just, when I read that, I thought, do we have a policy? Have we talked about this? Have we talked about, are we going to kind of look to CDFU for direction? Because people are writing to us and saying, you need to take a position, or you need to say something. And I think we're not, we're being informed that it's happening, but I don't feel like we are, as a body, have done a lot of talking about what, are we supporting kelp farming no matter what? Are we, what do we want to do? And so, yes, I would think we would want to take our nod from CDFU and defer to their judgment and hearing from their gear groups. I just didn't know if it had been discussed at the council level.
Yeah.
Is my mic on?
I don't know.
I think I'm getting a comment here that.
Yeah, I just have one. Logan, is 3 on?
All mics on. Is it connected? Plugged in?
That one's on.
Hello. Hello? Yep.
Oh, no comment, just the mic. Is that it? Okay.
Well, I already made my comment.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, any other comments on the correspondence? It's before us.
Did you guys want me to change any way that I put those in front of you? On this one, on 13, at least you can see when they go for agency review first, or agency comment, these are the other agencies getting it. The distribution list is on there. And so maybe we're at the bottom because maybe we do know the least and those other guys do know more. I'm not sure. But if just
Then do these go out for review, for public review later?
the ones that are the mariculture, more the leases do. This one for NVE happens to be just a land use permit, and he said that was way more lenient because it's really not a disposal of property. I don't know why. They seem similar to me, but different entities doing it also.
It just seems like our time is always so short on these. By the time, 2 weeks into it, we get the notice finally, and then there's only a week or two left. And by the time we have a meeting, today is the day to make the comment.
It's the second time on those other kinds that is a 45-day window, so
Okay.
we do have more time then.
Okay. Because it would be nice to, refer them to the Fisheries Committee and have them work with CDFU or, have all the groups. But certainly if when we get the notice, we can tell them, get an opinion from CDFU on if this is in a good location.
Well, if I haven't been
Avoid
doing this
conflict.
already, maybe I will send them to you all the minute I get them, and then maybe Kenny or someone who has, is this one with an issue that we, need to send to somebody or not? And if he's going to say, no, it's just a regular one, then I'm not going to waste the Fisheries Committee's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up on all of them, but there's been a lot.
Gosh, there has, no kidding.
It seems like every other week I'm forwarding some of these things to the CDFU board, so. And luckily, other people on the board are keeping up on it too, so I'm not the only one, but we did have that one with NVE, and luckily they changed it, and then the other one that was referenced in Burton's letter, I don't think that one's been solved yet, but hopefully somebody's reached out to the applicant and suggested an alternative location. It's as simple as moving it down the beach like 300 yards, and then everybody could use the area, no problem. So.
Okay, any other comments on the correspondence? And then we'll move on to ordinances and resolutions. Item 16, ordinance 1202, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Cordova, Alaska, enacting section 5.22.030, codifying the land disposal map process to increase public awareness of the municipal land status on second reading.
I move to approve.
Second?
Schaefer, seconded Baylor. Councilmember Schaefer.
I'm in support.
Councilmember Baylor.
Yeah, I think we had a discussion on this and I support it. I guess my only comment was if this is gonna, their memo said it's gonna take more staff time, so they need to address that when they do their funding or whatever.
Fee structure.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments on this? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Susan?
Yes, on second reading, it's a roll call. On final adoption of ordinance 1202. Is that right? Yes. Tom Baylor,
Yes.
Ken Jones,
Yes.
Ann Schaefer,
Yes.
Kristen Carpenter,
Yes.
Jeff Guard,
Yes.
and Melina Meyer and Kathy Sherman are absent, but that is a 5-0 vote, which adopts the ordinance.
Thank you. Item 17, ordinance 1203, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Cordova, Alaska, amending Cordova Municipal Code sections 1.04.255, 1.20.010, 2.06.030, 2.18.050, 2.24.020, et cetera, as it is in the packet, to define the terms publish and publication and to clarify the notice and publication requirements under the Cordova Municipal Code. Again, this is second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Motion. Schaefer?
Yeah, I don't have any, we discussed this at the last meeting. I am in favor.
Carpenter?
Yeah, ditto. I think the attorney's memo says, for people who are listening, it's doesn't change the city's obligation to issue public notice or the timelines that they're doing it. It just talks about the media that can be used and simplifies the code.
Anybody? Councilmember Jones?
Yeah, I guess my only concern with this is I don't want to see us move away from printing in a newspaper if we have a newspaper in print. So I guess I just wanted to clarify that with staff that we're still going to be taking out ads in the newspaper as long as we have one. So.
Yep.
Is that the case?
Yeah, yes, indeed. I think there was a point in time where we weren't sure we were going to have a newspaper, and with COVID and everything, there was a lot of alternative opportunities for public notice, so we're just codifying that. But we do have a contract with the new publisher, and we will have regular communication in the paper.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Discussion? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote, so
Yes.
clerk?
On ordinance 1203, Kathy Sherman is absent. Jeff Guard,
Yes.
Ken Jones,
Yes.
Ann Schaefer,
Yes?
Kristen Carpenter,
Yes.
Tom Baylor,
Yes.
and Melina Meyer is absent, and that's approved 5-0.
Hey, there is no unfinished business, new and miscellaneous business, pending agenda. CIP list, calendar.
Well, I'm going to add that mariculture something to pending agenda, and then you'll update us.
AMA representative, yeah.
Yes, yes.
AMA membership and
Sure. And then if we do formally appoint him, I'll add him to the back where I have the way, you know, we have people who serve on other boards for us. Because I did not recall that happening formally, right?
I don't either, but he's,
Clay saying something about
yeah, Clay probably mentioned it at some point in
Oh.
time, but yeah. Anyway, Tommy is representing the city and he is on their executive committee as the secretary currently, so, Councilmember Guard.
I think that if this is a organization that's recognized by the state and financial institutes and those around town, has money, access, I think it behooves us to officially do something official. So I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to appoint him or whoever we want to appoint next meeting and just make it as bona fide as we can make it.
Yeah, and we should know by next meeting if these bylaws pass, whether they pass or not. If they don't pass, it's just going to be the 60-member board still, so we still need representation on there. So either way, we should appoint a representative. I think so too.
Okay.
Councilmember Jones.
Yeah, I know this spring we talked about having a workshop at some point on housing and property tax incentives and stuff for development and trying to combat the housing shortage. I was wondering where that was and if we could get it put on this list.
There's a lot of work being done, and Kristen, maybe you can speak briefly to that as well, but we probably need a workshop to update everybody, or a work session before a meeting coming up, because there's a lot of stuff that is being explored and researched, nothing official or final, and nothing ready for your decision one way or the other. But it's a complex thing, but a lot of moving parts. So I'd be happy to sit down and do a work session of some kind or another.
Yeah, that's
update.
what I was
Yeah. Okay.
asking
Great.
for.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Are we picking a date?
Can we put it on the pending agenda and I'll get?
I think it's on the pending agenda.
Oh, it is on. Okay. We'll get a date going here. I don't have one right now. We could do something before the next meeting, maybe?
Well, the second October meeting, maybe?
Yeah.
You want to shoot for that?
Kristen, you're back.
I'll still be away, but I can participate.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be on the East Coast.
So I think that's October 19th.
I know.
Does that sound okay?
I'd as soon put it on with a date certain, because we've been talking about this for at least a couple of years now, if not longer than that. So, we can talk about things for a long time until some decision is made.
I also don't want to weigh down staff when we're going right into the budget either. So if we wanted to wait until January, I'd be fine with that too. I just wanted it on the list. I didn't see it on here, but maybe I.
Oh, maybe I was wrong.
don't
That
see
I
it on
thought it
here.
was.
So
Okay.
the next couple of months are going to get really busy with budget. So, but I just wanted something on the list, and so that way it doesn't get overlooked as we move into the spring.
I mean, January.
Well, there's definitely, yeah, January would be great. But there definitely is a lot of energy being put into that. So,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything else? Pending agenda?
Well, I don't know if it's pending agenda, but I see Cordova Trails Committee had a little meeting out here, and I would hope that maybe we'll get an update and whatever come of that or information at some point. So, Mayor?
Yeah, I would assume that we'll get a
Yeah,
report.
we'll
They just
provide
finished
an
that last
update.
night, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was pretty well attended, and I don't know. I think they kept a log of how many signed. I don't know how many people signed up. Just Kevin, does anybody know?
Said they had like 50 people come through.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
The
was.
grant training workshop, and there was a serves,
Yeah,
something going on, so a lot
Yeah.
of people moving through the areas. Yeah, so they were
Yeah.
really pleased.
They were thinking when they planned that,
Mhm.
they were doing that.
And there were various agencies represented, so
lots
a lot
of
of
volunteers, lots of
Yeah, it
lots
was
of
good.
information out there. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
well attended, and yeah.
Yeah. My only comment was that the sand trail was more like a canoe trail now. So,
Yeah,
Saw that.
yeah.
Dry
Just
out in a hurry.
Just FYI for the clerk, I will, and the vice mayor, I will be gone that first meeting in October. I'll be on the phone, but
Okay.
I have to be in Anchorage with my doctor that,
October 5th. Tom, will you
Yeah.
be in town still?
yes.
3rd through the 6th, I'll be out of town, the
Okay.
3rd through the 6th. And have to go get my fistulogram done. And
I actually won't be here either. Tina will do that one.
also, I guess for planning purposes, I don't think Tom will be here either, so who's next in line?
Well, I thought he said he would.
November.
In November.
November 16th, 17th meeting, whatever that
One
is.
I might not be here.
Okay.
I'll be in Seattle at that time for my
I don't
annual
remember in there yet.
checkup at Virginia Mason. So,
So the second November meeting?
yeah.
Okay.
Again, I'll be able to be on the phone, but I'll just be out of town.
And no Tom.
Yeah, I'll be on the phone. Probably won't be here.
I think we should go with the next longest on council, which is probably a tie with you and Melina. I don't know.
I think it's Jeff.
Is it Jeff?
Who's not here tonight?
All right. Somebody will want to run it. We'll figure it out.
I'm junior.
We'll give you a heads
Anyway.
up before. You have to run.
Anyway, we had a long time to figure that out. So, anyway, okay. Anything else on the pending agenda, CIP list, anything else? Hearing none. We'll move on to audience participation. Anybody want to make comments on anything? Okay, council comments. Melina's not here. German's not here. Kristen Carpenter.
I guess I would just want to echo what I said earlier, but I'm super thankful we have as much stability as we do with the medical center providers, and I guess good work on the code revisions. It's a lot of work to keep that current and make sure we're complying, or that the code matches what's actually happening in the way people conduct business. So I'm glad that's up to date. Thanks.
Councilmember Schaefer.
Congratulations to Sergeant Hayden. And also, thank you and good job to Sam and Tony for getting the RFP almost to the finish line. That's awesome. And yeah, thanks to staff. Nice to see everyone.
Councilmember Guard.
I'd like to echo the comments in front of me. Especially congratulations to Sergeant Hayden. He's been here quite a while and has been a real asset to the department and the community, so I was really happy to see that. I've got one quick comment on the budget schedule. This looks like a long list, but we're gonna get jammed up in this as far as, we've got 4 work session meetings set up in this, but turnaround time to get comments and revisions and changes and stuff, we're gonna have a really hard time. We've never been able to get those rolled out coherently in a week and then give people time to think about it and process. So I'm sure we'll do fine here, but we need to make the budget process longer than what we're doing. Not more meetings, but some more time for process to work and percolate in this in the future.
Sure.
Thank you.
Councilmember Jones.
Congratulations to Sergeant Hayden. And thank you all for coming. Look forward to public participation, maybe, having people come and comment.
Vice Mayor Baylor.
Yeah, I'd echo all the comments made before me, and I'm glad to hear Dr. Glow is gonna stick around. I was just trying to research to find my next doctor in Anchorage. They don't have to now. Right?
Okay, we just need, Councilmember Jones, we just need one controversial item to bring the people in every time. So when we do pending agenda, let's throw something on there each time and
I'll see what I can do.
get some people coming. And I'd just like to make a couple comments this time around. Right after our last meeting was when we had the big rain dump on us, I think, and the staff did a good job of that emergency road washout that just past Powder House there. And our new sergeant was out there getting soaked, directing traffic out there, and he wasn't alone. There was a few other people too, with both state and city crews all worked together and handled that pretty well. I was it was good to see. I'm glad we didn't have more major damage than it was. So thank you all for that. So we don't have an executive session. So the next item.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded and approved by all. We will be adjourned. Thank you.